The 2021 Honda CB1000R Black. Honda goes a bit beyond the cursory, bold new graphics package that frequently heralds a new model year with new bodywork and a blackout paint package on the Honda CB1000R that sets it well apart from the previous version to make it the Black Edition. Improved electronics join with the new looks for some under-the-hood improvements, increasing its utility as a commuter, and a fun one at that. The punchy 4-banger reprises its role as the beating heart with throttle-by-wire and riding modes on board to help with engine management. 2021 Honda CB1000R Black Edition design. Honda's design team combines the new with the old for a certain balance that sets its flagship Neo Sports Cafe model apart. Honda's design team combines the new with the old for a certain balance that sets its flagship Neo Sports Cafe model apart. The custom culture references are strong with the CB1000R Black, and are apparent right out of the gate in the heavily bobbed front fender and rampant use of blackout treatment that starts out in the spoked rims and touches on all points north. Alternating polished spokes and small, machined aluminum accents represent the only shiny bits beyond the moving components at the brake discs and the inner fork tubes, but they do little to overcome the dark streak that the CB1000R brings to the table. Poised more aggressively than before, the broad shoulders formed by the transverse engine and narrow, bobbed tail section give it an all-up-front look like a sprinter crouched at the blocks. The 4.3-gallon fuel tank hump and 32.7-inch seat height give it a high flyline that will definitely be in tiptoe country for riders at the shorter end of the spectrum. At the end of the day, that's to be expected of a sport bike model. While the tail section itself is chopped down and doesn't provide any meaningful fling containment, the swingarm mount forward hugger and single-side rear hugger join forces to do just that. Plus, they add an extreme edge to an already radical machine that is hard to quantify. The pillion area is of the I'd rather not variety with a barely there P-pad and nothing in the way of JC handles to hang onto, so if you weren't close friends at the start of the ride, you will be by the end. A set of subframe mount, fold-up foot pegs complete the passenger's amenities, but if you prefer that solo road warrior look, the Black Edition rolls with a stock P-pad cover that gives the back end a race-faring finish. All-around LED lighting that includes a DRL ring ensures two-way visibility with your surrounds in contrast with the rather stealthy monochromatic finish that dominates the overall look. This model also rolls with a USB port under the seat so you can charge your phone underway. Even the rear lights are above par. They flash when a firm braking effort is detected to warn rearward traffic, or at the very least, get their attention. Communications come with the Honda smartphone voice control that connects a helmet mic to the system via Bluetooth connectivity so you can field hands-free calls underway. 2021 Honda CB1000R Black Edition chassis. The Black Edition has an eagerness to dive into a turn and a willingness to pull sharp reversals. The bones of the CB1000R Black are a direct carryover from last year. It rocks tubular steel members built around a mono backbone structure for strength with aluminum swingarm pivot plates for some more lightweight reinforcement at those stress points. A single side swingarm completes the skeleton and does its bit in keeping unsprung weight low, which helps the suspension to be supple and responsive. As a result, it serves as built-in insurance for the integrity of the contact patches. Rake and Trail are definitely at the agile handling end of the spectrum at 25 degrees and 3.9 inches, respectively, to give the Black Edition an eagerness to dive into a turn and a willingness to pull sharp reversals. Showa supplies the stems and a single, coil-over rear shock out back delivers the full trinity of tweaks, and up front, a set of separate function front fork big piston, SFFBP, units deliver the same fully adjustable ride as the rear shock. I hate to say that at this displacement, a naked Street Fighter is expected to deliver the goods on the ride control side of things. Still, Honda gets points for the full adjustments at both ends, areas where manufacturers sometimes fail as they pursue the false economy of less capable, and less expensive, bolt-on equipment. Suspension travel measures in at 4.3 inches up front and 5.2 inches out back, plenty for civilized streets. Tokaco anchors haul things down in a hurry with dual, 310mm discs and 4-piston calipers ahead of a twin-piston caliper and 256mm disc. A 2-channel ABS feature comes stock for traction protection at both ends of the machine. Cast alloy, 7-spoke wheels round out the rolling chassis with a 17-inch diameter and Z-rated rubber in a 120/70 ahead of a 190/55 that will take all the speed and aggressive cornering you care to dish out. 2021 Honda CB1000R Black Edition Drivetrain. The close-ratio transmission is geared for heart-pounding acceleration. The powerplant in the CB1000R Black is pretty much a carryover from last year, but with a couple of notable improvements in the tuned PGM-FI settings that smooth out power delivery and throttle response, along with a shiny new EU5 emissions rating. That's pretty much what's new in the engine and engine control systems, but this is an engine that already carries plenty of charms as it is. A 75mm bore and 56.5mm stroke gives the 4-banger a 998cc displacement with a medium-hot compression ratio of 11.6:1 that will demand mid-grade fuel or some sort of octane booster to prevent knock, ping, run-on. Optimized air intake components, including the air filter, minimize pressure loss in the intake stream to maximize the ram air effect, thereby improving the volumetric efficiency a bit. Induction control falls to a quartet of 44mm throttle bodies that operate via ride-by-wire inputs from the pilot, but that's just the start of the engine control, not the end. The Black Edition rolls with adjustable engine power delivery, traction control, and engine braking. This all falls under the control of the riding modes feature that bundles the above together with a trio of preset profiles and one rider programmable profile. The programmable profile lets you get set up to suit your riding style and/or prevalent conditions. A slipper clutch makes the connection to the close-ratio 6-speed transmission and adds another layer of safety by prevent excessive back torque from breaking the rear wheel loose on hard downshifts. It also makes for a very light clutch pull. If you aren't into pulling the clutch 273 times before you get where you're going, you can use the push-button quick shift feature to bang your way up the range. You'll have to work back down the range the old-fashioned way. As for the power, the liquid-cooled mill churns out 143 horsepower at 10,500 revolutions per minute with a 12,000 revolutions per minute redline, and torque tops out at 8,250 revolutions per minute with 76 pound-feet on tap for a top speed around 150 miles per hour to place the CB1000R Black Edition firmly in the stupid fast category. 2021 Honda CB1000R Black Edition price. MSRP is $13,000 for this stoplight burner with a dark streak a mile wide. The 2021 Black Edition is scheduled for release in May 2021, and is the only version of the CB1000R platform that will make it to U.S. shores this year. Honda plans to ask $12,999 MSRP for its stoplight burner with a dark streak a mile wide. 2021 Honda CB1000R Black Edition competitors. You'll never do either bike justice on public roads, not legally anyway. Honda's Neo Sports Cafe is kind of in a design niche all its own, so rather than getting hung up on looks, I went looking for something that would appeal to the same sort of rider and quickly turned up Suzuki's GSX-S1000Z. Suzuki GSX-S1000Z. Suzuki takes the path frequently traveled in the looks department with features that are more common across the board with the rest of the naked sport bikes worldwide. It leaves most of the engine visible but runs angular cheek fairings and a pointy chin fairing, so it isn't quite as Spartan as the Honda platform. Out back, the Z carries the same kind of swing arm mount hugger, but the subframe mount mudguard is rather unsightly compared to the clean rear end on the CB. Suzuki matches Honda in the ABS and traction control features but fails to meet the rather high bar set by the Dark's electronics suite to leave the Red Riders with an advantage in the tronics. Suzuki runs a 999cc inline-4 engine and slipper-type clutch with 150 horsepower on tap against Honda's 143 ponies, and a 164 mph top speed against 150 mph from Honda for an edge that means absolutely nothing on the streets. You'll never, legally, do either bike justice on public roads, better not anyway. Suzuki gains another advantage at the till with an $11,099 MSRP that may be attractive to shoppers up against a hard budget. Read our full review of the Suzuki GSX S1000 and S1000Z. He said, "While I love me some cafe racer yummy goodness, calling this bike any sort of cafe is a stretch. It's more like a guideline than an actual rule. Yeah, that said, the clean lines and understated presence are quite attractive. And who doesn't like a stealthy paint job on their 150 mph mount? Not that it's an exercise in subtlety. This thing is about as subtle as a dropped piano once you get up past the 5k RPM mark," she said. My wife and fellow motorcycle rider, Alan Hinton, says, "Yeah, the CB1000R has been around a long time, but the black is the first real update in a while. The whole black-on-black thing is so very Batman-looking, I like it. The bike sounds powerful and it doesn't disappoint performance-wise. The engine is essentially a retuned and remapped CBR1000RR Fireblade engine. Power delivery is now smoother and more responsive than the previous CB1000R. And while the chassis is pretty much unchanged, it doesn't fail to deliver a thrilling ride." 2021 Honda CB1000R Black Edition specifications.
If you liked this video, please share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.